Yo, what is up guys? In today's video I want to talk about something I recently learned about how to actually become mentally tougher and how to become like a stronger human being and more disciplined. And something I realized when I look at my environment and people around me and pretty much everyone that I know, like a lot of people get this wrong. A lot of people think about this the complete wrong way, which makes it so that they actually don't do the right things to become mentally tougher, and because they're simply applying this in the wrong way. So I'll explain exactly what I mean by this, but to tell you like exactly like how it actually works and what I mean by this, I need to tell you a bit of a backstory. And this comes back to me working with a very successful mentor that I've been working with now for a couple of months, who taught me this and helped me understand this concept. Which basically there's two different types of motivation. There's two different types of like drive or discipline that you can have. There is internal motivation, where you're driven to do stuff for your own reasons, and you yourself, you have your own why, and you commit to doing things because you want to. And then there's external discipline, or there's external kind of external pressure from maybe your boss, your surroundings, people around you are pushing you and holding you accountable to doing stuff that you need to do and getting stuff done. And what I realized is for myself, for the company that I've been working with for a while now, where I'm doing sales for them, I realized in my own journey that in the past I was doing my own business. I basically set my own schedule completely. I had to like have the discipline to put in the hours of work every single day, wake up at a certain time, get the work done. Like that was all in my responsibility to make sure that I did the stuff, and I had to like kind of push myself to do those things. And the motivation came internally, so I had to kind of teach myself how to actually like motivate myself and how to actually be disciplined, and it had to come internally. What I realize now with the new company that I'm working with at this point is it's very different. The company I'm working with right now is more like external pressure, where it's a lot of accountability, a lot of push from the owner, the boss, on like you have to do this. If you don't do this, there's like X, Y, and Z consequences if you don't do it. And there's way more like kind of discipline that's coming from the outside, if that makes sense. And what I've realized is like real discipline, if you want to become someone who's actually mentally tough, someone who's able to do hard things, and someone who's able to really like endure hard things in your life, that has to come primarily from internal drive to actually make that happen. Because the thing is, if you're relying on external drive, if you're relying on someone else to discipline you and hold you accountable, that's only going to get you so far. Because, for example, if you're trying to start your own business, if you're trying to start your own business, if you want to become really like a professional athlete, or like really achieve something great and like do something bigger, you can't just be relying on other people to push you to take the actions. Like that has to come internally at some point, because it's going to come a time where things get really hard, where maybe you don't have someone who can push you through that. Maybe you don't have someone who's going to discipline you. And especially if you have your own business, or if you're trying to become an athlete or something, like it ultimately comes down to you. You have to have the drive to do the hard things to achieve real results. And that's, for example, when I look at, for example, people in the military, you would think that someone who's in the military, they get a lot of discipline, like you think that person becomes very disciplined because they listen to orders from like the people who are above them, and they learn to do hard things. But if you think about it a bit like deeper, if you go one step further with it, you realize that this concept also applies to that situation as well. Because yeah, they're doing hard things, yeah, they're pushing themselves and doing like physically and mentally tough things, but the thing is, like in most cases, it's not internal motivation that's driving them to do those things. It's actually external. They have someone else that's forcing them to do those things, and if they don't, there are consequences obviously of not doing it. And that's what I realized. Like I think that's obviously to some certain extent, like I'm not saying that like it's 100% solely external pressure, but it mostly is. And like that's the thing, is like I think personally I believe that if you push yourself to do, for example, do the same thing that I was talking about before, starting your own business, doing something like physically hard, and if you are the one that's pushing yourself to do it, I think that will create more mental toughness and more discipline, instead of having someone else pushing you to do it. So that's the concept I've realized, and I realized that's more valuable to like teach yourself and improve at your own discipline, instead of having someone else just push you, and becoming more disciplined just by having someone else and having a boss like telling you what to do and like kind of disciplining you, if that makes sense. So that's my thoughts for today, guys. I kind of a new concept. I'm still trying to like wrap my head around exactly how this works, but that's my thoughts for right now, and I hope you got some good takeaways. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.